back to us anyway. Alright. I kind of want to use Yin, but I kind of don't. I think I'm going to use... I just don't feel like... I think there's enough darkness around us. I think we've done enough shadow work, so let's kind of rise. Funny thought. Inappropriate. Rise like a boner is what my head said. So let's do this. Alright. I just got done installing flooring in the RV. I only got 2 rolls. I did decide to do the second roll if you do watch that. Because in the video I made, I was like, oh, I'm just going to stop everything. And I put the second roll down, and then there's like this increasingly large crack between the 2. Whatever. We'll fix it. Or that will be the place where we sweep all the dirt. Alright. Remember, the ambulance build that I'm doing is predominantly aesthetics. It's just decorating. There's not anything else that really needs to get done. So, kids are not going to be worried about that. Reflection. Ooh, I just got that song Christina Aguilera sang for the Mulan movie back in the early 2000s. What is that song? My reflection. What is... Hang on. I haven't been here because I've been in like some really gnarly toxic masculine energy myself. The heat here is violent. What am I... Oh yeah. Christina Aguilera. Also getting the sweetest thing right now. Christina! I should finish my thought. Reflection song. Oh yeah, it's called Reflection. Look at me, you may think you see who I really am, but you'll never know me every day as if I play a part. Now I see if I wear a mask, I can fool the world, but I cannot fool my heart. Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? When will my reflection show who I am on the inside? I am now in a world where I have to hide my heart and what I believe in, but somehow I will show the world what's inside my heart and be loved for who I am. Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? Why is my reflection someone I don't know? Must I pretend that I'm someone else for all time? When will my reflection show who I am on the inside? Yes, I'm struggling with reading because my brain is... There's a heart that must be free to fly, that burns with a need to know the reason why. Why must we all conceal what we think, how we feel? Must there be a secret me I'm forced to hide? I won't pretend that I'm someone else for all time. Jemmy. When will my reflection show who I am on the inside? When will my reflection show who I am on the inside? So, you know, one of the energies that we've been getting a lot with the Yin Yang deck has been facades. I mean, it hasn't been like every reading, but it has been very present in a few of them in the recent past few weeks. So, you know, in these times that we're living in, especially if you are here in the United States, there's a very, very clear dichotomy or divide, right, that the systems and powers in place have put for a reason, for, you know, to control the masses. And a lot of us are nervous about being loud about what we believe. We're seeing what's happening to people. People are becoming political prisoners for speaking up against this regime and other regimes. Israel. And so, you know, it is a chance. Take a chance on me. What is that, Mamma Mia? I think that's ABBA. But, damn. Okay, so what that song is speaking to is, you know, don't hide who you are. You know what's right, you know what's wrong. I think that I'm taking this to a larger context than just like personal struggle, because I feel like this is something I feel like a lot of people are dealing with, and that's why people aren't as loud as possible, or as loud as they could be. But we are also getting to this point where people are showing up in numbers and in droves, in grouping together against things because they know what's right? And so maybe this is something more personal, less political for you, but remember that, we're all here on this planet at this time to make the world a better place. What is going on? So, anyway, this resilience was the second card to come out. I don't know if I'm going to use this deck or not. We'll see. I don't know if we really need to. I'm already yapping like a motherfucker. Okay. Storyteller. Maybe there's a story of your past that can help people with their own future, and you need to talk it out. You need to share it, express it in some way. I highly recommend doing that. As someone who is formerly incarcerated, I like to share that story because I didn't stay in that space of being a criminal. I never was a criminal. I mean, technically a little bit. I was Robin Hooding it. I was stealing shit from people's storage units to send to Africa. A little bit of white savior complex mixed in with a Robin Hood complex. Got caught, got arrested. But either way, that story that I share helps a lot of people with their own mental health, with their own guilt and shame around struggles that they have endured or fallen victim to or chosen as well, right? We have bravery, so maybe there is some bravery with you sharing the story that you've experienced, and getting youth or young sexual assault. Maybe there is something that you've endured that other kids need support through. And I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I was saying, I am the adult that I wish I had when I was younger, and that's my whole inspiration in creating this space, both as a mother and as a community member, just recognizing that I have not let this adulthood take my imagination and my innocence. The things that have happened to me, I haven't let determine how I feel and show up in the world. I continue to be authentic regardless of how I've been criminalized for doing so in the past. And we all get to a point of, I'm not letting anyone else control me. I think that's a really important part of life. So that might also be, speaking to those song lyrics, why do you feel like you need to put on a mask? Why do you feel like you can't show up as who you are? Most likely it was someone in your family telling you had to be a certain way, right? And so part of this decolonizing and coming into consciousness journey is very much shedding all of society's expectations and obligations and projections of who we should be, what we should do. Again, I'm getting that middle scene from Across the Universe. Why is it always what would you do? It should be who you are, right? And then Jude says it's not necessarily that either, it's how you do it. How do you show up for the world? Do you show up as this scared person with this facade? And we've all been there, right? I've been there. I fell in line. I marched to someone else's beat for a while. And then I just couldn't do it anymore. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to take a chance on doing what I see and feel. And when you choose that, when you take that leap of faith, that's that Fool card in the tarot deck. It's that that the universe is going to catch you, right? And I talk about that all the time in the What's Your Callings readings too. We need people to be innovative. We need people to be excited about changing things, about doing things differently, not worried about how people will look at them. And so, you'll get there, if you want to, but that's your own liberation, right? I say all the time, I don't participate in my own oppression. I haven't worn bras, ever. For a while I did, but, that's participating in my own oppression. They're so uncomfortable. I fucking hate them. I don't wear them. Right now I'm wearing bikini tops, but either way, I don't do bras, with the hooks and shit. I have one nursing bra from after pregnancy that is kind of comfy, that I'll wear if I really need to wear a bra. But other than that, no. I wear a tank top. I don't. So that's an example of, A, being a hippie, and two, just not participating in your own oppression. I don't wear a lot of makeup. I used to really spend a lot of fucking time doing my hair. I don't anymore. And so it's like going through that list of like things that like make you feel stuck, make you feel locked in to a reality you don't want to be locked into, or a personality that isn't really you. Okay, I'm gonna shut the fuck up and keep reading. We have planting seeds and creativity, so really lean into that for yourself, alright? For the sake of community and yourself. But ultimately, in these times of war, we really need to be doing what we can to create community and keep each other safe. I mean, if you have watched any news in the past couple weeks, it's very evident that community is what keeps us safe, not these powers. ICE does not keep us safe. In fact, what they're doing is terrifying. And under this regime, I think we all need to understand. I mean, if you're not in the United States, well, even if you aren't in the United States, you are still very affected by this regime at a global scale. Everyone is. And so under this regime, I am here in the United States, thrilled. It's very evident that the policing from all jurisdictions is becoming more controlled. And so the easiest way to avoid those things is to do not engage with, I wouldn't break any laws, but there are laws being written and passed. But I saw this video of someone yesterday in a hospital, and the police were like holding people hostage, and so it's just like understanding how the carceral system works. And now that this regime has kind of removed the veil, removed the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz, right? We know, well, I don't think everyone does, but we can see that the violence is going up, right? The state is inflicting violence upon the people at alarming rates that we really haven't experienced. We as like a country, there are plenty of groups of people within this country who have experienced these tactics and ways, right? Black and brown folks, Asian folks back in World War II times, with the internment camps, with genocide, with police brutality and slavery and incarceration, right? And so now there's this larger grasp for that. The reason that this is important for this personal reading is that this affects us even if it's subconscious or not, right? We're being called into this ability to keep going, right? This persistence. And persistence is coming out right underneath resilience. I use resilience in all of my community work, the word resilience, whether it was in LA, my thesis, this art project. Resilience is present because I think that's the backbone of being able to build resistance within this community spaces, right? We have spiritual guidance, so when you're feeling lost, allow your guides to step in and support you. Maybe by paying attention to the animals. With the raven, this in the spirit animal deck, we haven't gotten there yet. I'm only on the D's. But the raven is speaking to allowing magic. And coming out right after the spirit guides, allowing yourself to be in this childlike wonder and allowing the universe to show up for you, like finding feathers or seeing certain animals. That's how the universe communicates, also through numbers and songs and, sending people through your path, whether, it's a good situation or a bad situation. It's, again, that scene from the end of Eat, Pray, Love. If you can, dedicate yourself to your own personal growth journey and recognize that everyone that crosses your path and everything is like a teacher, and just take it that for what it is, as a lesson, right? Example. I see feathers everywhere. I don't have an example coming. I don't know why. I just live in this space, and again, you have to get back to like that childlike wonder, which is going to require you to release your facade. you don't necessarily need to, release that mask around others at this point in time, but really practice just being who you are, being your authentic self with yourself, like around you. Accept yourself for who you are. And as you do that more and more, your self-love grows, and you kind of just integrate your shadow, and you integrate who you are, and your self-love just grows, that it doesn't matter what anyone around you thinks about you. It doesn't matter what people say about you. People are always talking shit, and they're dumb, and they talk about think about the society as like Facebook. Like, we all know how deranged and dumb Facebook is, like compared to like all these other apps that have come out, right? So like, maybe think of yourself as, you don't necessarily like, so when I think of Facebook, I think of like boomers bitching, okay? When I think about TikTok, I think about like a couple things. I think about, first, certain people like only doing one fucking thing, right? Being like so uniform that they can only do one thing. Or everyone else doing like the same trend, right? Or TikTok can be, but like TikTok is a great analogy for like showing up for who you are. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing at any given time in your life. Literally never. In fact, you shouldn't. We do have, okay, this is interesting. We have silence and communication coming out. So again, maybe take some time away from others to practice on your own relationship with yourself. And also, I'm getting like, move in silence. And when you are communicating, communication is coming out right under reflection and community. When you are communicating with others, maybe just don't tell people shit. Keep shit to yourself. Keep it close to your chest. Especially if you are like very much in this process of raw healing, right? I said a long time ago, war is raw backwards, and like that's how we can counter it, right? Like, so even our own internal wars, like what the song lyrics were talking about, being raw means to be like authentically who you are, right? And that is the word war backwards. I mean, it has a pretty gnarly connotation when we think about it, because it's like usually talking about meat. But yeah, release that connotation. And just think about who you are, strip away all of society's and your family's ideas of who you should be, and expectations, obligations, and step into this nurturing role, this empress role for yourself, and protect your love, right? Love is the one thing that's going to keep us moving forward. 2 cards here I haven't mentioned yet are Father and Speed. I'm not getting the drug from Speed. Like, isn't that what they used to call like meth? Speed? Or maybe it just evolved. Either way, the speed in which you go through this process, I don't think is, it's on a divine time kind of clock. It's not, the 3D likes to, I think especially coming out with Father, the patriarch likes to force us into urgency, right? Like, there's this constant urgency. I myself am always, and that's the thing about this toxic masculine energy that I've found myself into this week. It's because I've been having to deal with a lot of dudes, quite frankly, unhealed dudes. And so I'm just like, I'm good. But like, that patriarch forces us into urgency. And like, we don't necessarily need that, right? Like, I want to get this bill done because I'm passionate about it, but it does not need to get done in the urgency that I want to do it. It's just that I've been sitting on it for so long that I want to see it come into life, right? But when we rush, we get sloppy. Like I said, there's like this crack between the floors that like keeps getting bigger. Was I rushing this morning? I mean, I wasn't rushing, but the video I made, I was like, I'm gonna hold off, and then I decided not to hold off. And I should have just held off. But again, that's just an example of like a mundane task or a little thing that we have to do every day. We don't necessarily need to rush. We don't need to be at anyone else's speed. Remember, if you are feeling that anxiety from a certain urgency, like, yes, there's urgency, so fucking for real, but maybe not so much in our own internal worlds, right? The journey back to yourself is not something that you need to rush. In fact, I would highly recommend you don't, because it can lead to psychosis if you do rush this process. So take time to be gentle with yourself. Take time to acknowledge what you've already been through, your own bravery and resilience to this point. Think about the seeds that you have planted, the projects that you have completed. Think about everything that has gotten you to where you are. And allow yourself to be grateful and also excited about continuing that path. Alright? What the fuck am I gonna call this reading? Oh, probably reflection. Okay, have a good one.